Master word list. Words starting with letter Q. Quack means imposter. For example, do not be misled by the exorbitant claims of this quack. He cannot cure you. Quadruped means four-footed animal. For example, most mammals are quadrupeds. Quaff means drink with relish. For example, as we quaffed our ale, we listened to the lively songs of the students in the tavern. Quagmire means soft, wet, boggy land. For example, up to her knees in mud, Myra wondered how on earth she was going to extricate herself from this quagmire. Quail means lose heart. For example, the cowardly lion was afraid that he would quail in the face of danger. Quaint means old-fashioned. For example, her quaint clothes and old-fashioned language marked her as an eccentric. Qualified means limited, restricted. For example, unable to give the candidate full support, the mayor gave him only a qualified endorsement. Qualms means misgivings. For example, I have no qualms about giving this assignment to Helen. I know she will handle it admirably. Quandary means dilemma. For example, when both Harvard and Stanford accepted Laura, she was in a quandary as to which school she should attend. Quarantine means isolation of person or ship to prevent spread of infection. For example, we will have to place this house under quarantine until we determine the exact nature of the disease. Quarry means victim, object of a hunt. For example, the police closed in on their quarry. Quarry means dig into. For example, they quarried blocks of marble out of the hillside. Quay means dock, landing place. For example, because of the captain's carelessness, the ship crashed into the quay. Queasy means easily nauseated, squeamish. For example, remember that great chase movie, the one with the carsick passenger? That's right, queasy rider. Quell means extinguish, put down. For example, Miss Minchin's demeanor was so stern and forbidding that she could quell any unrest among her students with one intimidating glance. Quench means douse or extinguish. For example, no matter how much water the hiker drank, she could not quench her thirst. Querulous means whining. For example, even the most agreeable toddlers can begin to act querulous if they miss their nap. Query means inquiry, question. For example, in her column Ask Beth, the columnist invites young readers to send her their queries about life and love. Quibble means minor objection or complaint. For example, aside from a few hundred teensy-weensy quibbles about the set, the script, the actors, the director, the costumes, the lighting, and the props, the hypercritical critic loved the play. Quiescent means at rest, dormant, temporarily inactive. For example, after the Great Eruption, fear of Mount Etna was great, people did not return to cultivate its rich hillside lands until the volcano had been quiescent for a full 2 years. Quietude means tranquility. For example, he was impressed by the air of quietude and peace that pervaded the valley. Quintessence means purest and highest embodiment. For example, Noel Coward displayed the quintessence of wit. Quip means taunt. For example, you are unpopular because you are too free with your quips and sarcastic comments. Quirk means startling twist. For example, by a quirk of fate, he found himself working for the man whom he had discharged years before. Quiver means tremble, shake. For example, the bird dog's nose twitched and his whiskers quivered as he strained eagerly against the leash. Quiver means case for arrows. For example, Robin Hood reached back and plucked one last arrow from his quiver. Quixotic means idealistic but impractical. For example, constantly coming up with quixotic, unworkable schemes to save the world, Simon has his heart in the right place, but his head somewhere in the clouds. Quizzical means teasing, mocking, curious. For example, when the skinny teenager tripped over his own feet stepping into the bullpen, Coach raised one quizzical eyebrow, shook his head, and said, "Okay, kid. You're here, let's see what you've got." Quorum means number of members necessary to conduct a meeting. For example, the senator asked for a roll call to determine whether a quorum was present. End of the word list with words starting with letter Q.